This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. And here we are, June 21st, 2022. And what do I do on June 21st now? I can't plan anything else. I mean, I went to work today, but I had to schedule around some hairy bastard out of Oregon.
I guess June 21st is the date.
It's the date, folks. I've had him on here twice before, plus in a 13 fanboy group, whatever the fuck, Yeah, whatever. But nonetheless, we got him back for his third interview, and I love the fact he's got the number 4 on his T-shirt. Because I'm pretty sure Facebook will look at that and say, "Oh, that's Troy Oelke 4."
Yeah, Troy Oelke, number 4.
Folks, I give you, as far as I'm concerned, the most talented person involved in 13 Fanboy.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you.
I give you Troy Oelke. How do you do, Troy?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and I mean that. I mean, I don't know where the hell you come up with your ideas, for your videos, but when I say that you're the most talented person, that's not a slight to anybody else in the film. It's just, I don't know where you come up with your shit. Speaking of which, how much did your boss had to shovel when Amber Heard visited the store?
We now know who the culprit was.
You know what? Boy, my mind goes in warped places, It's like, imagine, Johnny Depp, the whole thing with court, and Johnny Depp and Amber Heard breakup. I'm sitting here thinking, gee, there's a version of A Nightmare on Elm Street here. Imagine, he's laying in that bed, and he passes out to sleep, and suddenly, he gets sucked into the bed and shit flies up on the ceiling. Freddy's like, I didn't do it. And imagine the cops showing up there, and goes, the coroner hasn't stopped puking since he got here.
Oh man, that was yeah, she's never gonna live that one down.
Nope. Nope.
Well,
yeah, but I'll tell you, it's that was interesting. Where all that came from? Oh, it must be from talking to you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
always turns to poop.
Yeah, but it's interesting, that you and I have kept in touch, and I want to thank you because number one, I appreciate your condolences about my dad, for one thing. That would have been a good chance for my friction with 13 Fanboy to be erased, but I heard from you, I heard from Orlando Rodriguez, Christy Fontenot. I got a beautiful message from Lar Park Lincoln, who stated that she lost her parents when she was younger, and Lara's not the easiest person to reach online, so it was pretty cool to hear from her. But I appreciate the kind words because, as much as I'm happy that I got my name on 13 Fanboy, I don't have a good relationship with that film right now. And but I'm glad that you're one of the people that hasn't turned his back on me, and I've never told you to turn your back on them either, so that's just to be clear. But there's a lot of people saying they stood up for me, and I'm calling bullshit on those people because they blocked me on Facebook. So I'm calling them a liar. And when one of the producers, Mr. JB, tells Jimmy Presley to take condolences to me about my dad, do it yourself, I know Jimmy Presley is good guy, but nonetheless, I want to talk about happier things like this. Look at this.
What you got there? My
Look
eyes
at
are
the.
terrible.
What do you mean your eyes are terrible? There's a magnifying glass.
That's what I need.
Can you see it now? Can you see it now? Can you see it now?
No.
Oh, that doesn't work for you, does it?
What do you got there?
This is living proof that the Academy is biased. This is living proof. This is art. This is a movie that you and I were not even considered for an Academy Award. Despite the fact that we were observed by the talents of Eric Roberts.
Oh, it wants blood.
Yeah, can you believe this wasn't up for any Oscars?
I have got to get my copy of that. Where'd you get that?
I ordered that from James Balsamo. It's got a bunch of doctors' signatures on here, as far as I can see, because I can't fucking read a single. Seriously, I could take this to the hospital where I work and say, which one of you people signed this?
They might be able to decipher it for you.
Holy frig. I can pick out two Greg. I think James Balsamo, this was done at Dark Delicacies, I think, but I think James Balsamo is on here. Joe Castro might be on there. Craig Muckler, I think, is on there. And Brink Stevens, I think, is on there. Knows. I can't read any of the writing. I have no idea. I would love to meet one of them at a con and say, which one of these is yours?
Right.
Who wrote to Greg? Because that's the only thing. Who? Somebody different must have put that.
Yeah. Legible.
That's legible. Yeah. It's interesting because when I saw the rough cut of this, it only had one of the monsters. Have one of the monsters. And I'll guess what else? It didn't have Lita in the version I saw. It's like watching when I saw this, I was like, what the? This is like a totally different movie.
Right.
You know? And even Eileen Dietz from The Exorcist, her scene is different in this compared to the rough cut. Think about that.
He's working on I really I wanted to get in on From Dusk Till Bong.
I want to do It Wants Blood too, because Weird Al Yankovic is going to be in it.
Oh, nice.
But it's like, look, I know they got to raise money, but $400 for an associate producer and have it's hard to get that. I can afford to do it, but it's like I got other things going on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'd like to. We'll see. The Weird Al part of it has certainly got my attention. So, but so have you seen the full cut of this yet?
Yep.
Yep. Caught me by surprise the fact that shit, like it's got another creature in it, the one that's a bird-looking creature, and it's got Lita in it. And the other politician. It's kind of weird. It's almost like he could do two cuts of that movie. But I like seeing Lita, so don't cut her out of it. But yeah. So yeah, it was nice to see me on the screen being watched by Eric Roberts, as I'm sure you're happy about it. See, my friend Lisa Langlois from class of 1984 just did a film with Eric Roberts in Los Angeles, and I told Lisa, I said, oh, you mean my old co-star?
Oh, Eric.
Tell him I said hi.
Yeah,
Tell him the nasty stuff I said on that screen. James Balsamo told me to say it.
I loved my part in that where, again, just like you, I had Eric Roberts watching me, but I was completely talking smack about his character. And then I was thrilled to be, the little side box during the end credits, flip-flopping 100% on what I was saying about his character. Now I just love his character, and I loved him the whole time. He was awesome. And yeah, I liked right when it busted into the credits there. That was pretty cool to be right in the credit part too. I thought that was a lot of fun.
You know what? I loved it when I appear on the screen, and after I'm done, it cuts to Eric Roberts going like this.
It's
Um,
the little thing.
that was perfect, But yeah, I mean it's totally low budget, but it's James Balsamo.
He's he does everything fun. I feel like all his movies he tries to just really have a lot of fun, and definitely low budget, but he sure makes it fun. He reminds me of like the Trauma films, the early Trauma films, just goofy and crazy and lots of TNA and gallons of blood and monsters, and you can't go wrong there.
I've only seen 3 of the movies I cameo in, and I've been in 9 of them.
Oh geez.
I'm like he's like working on about 500 different films at a time.
Oh, it's hard to keep up. That guy is nonstop, just working.
Yeah. But no, this was a fun thing to watch. Tried to get my brother to watch it. He took a pass. But out of the 3 I've seen that I'm in, which are Cool as Hell 2, Catch of the Day 2, and this is the best of the 3, I think.
I'm still looking forward to still got Balsamo Beach coming out at some point.
Yeah, I'm part of that one too, and then there's Nightmare Party Twerk of Terror, which hasn't even started yet, and I filmed my part for that like what 3 years ago.
Oh wow.
So I don't know, because I know for Catch of the Day 2, he used something footage I shot with Andrew Lewis, the shit flick critic, when he was visiting me here, and that was supposed to be for I Spill Your Guts too, but he put it in that movie, so I'm like, okay, whatever, But I don't know. I look forward to seeing the finished cut, But I got this one on Blu-ray. I think it turned out well, and I guess there was a screening of it. So you and I were on the screen at the Chinese theater.
Yeah, that is freaking cool.
Yeah. I like to think that we got all the applause.
Right.
Like my cat's around here, somebody think, don't count on it. But yeah, I'm part of 9 of his films. How many are you part of now?
I think 3.
Mm-hmm.
Catch Balsamo Beach and It Wants Blood.
Mm-hmm.
That is it so far. I've been talked to him not long ago, a fefew weeks back. Told him I might be interested in doing a little something.
From Dust Till Bong. That does sound interesting.
Yeah, I loved it. It's like, oh, with a name like that, who wouldn't want to be in,
Well, that's why I became part of Nightmare Party Twerk of Terror. It's like, yeah. I don't know. I plan to get involved in something again. It's just, I just started the job at the hospital here, as a cleaner, and it's much, much better money. I'll tell you that, So I'm trying to put everything together, and so that I can enjoy going to Horrorama in Toronto this fall, and then going to Frightmare in the Falls. Horrorama hasn't announced any guest yet, but Frightmare in the Falls right now have announced 8, and I'm sitting here thinking this is becoming difficult because I was told there's going to be about 24 people for the guest, and I'm like, I can't see everybody. I just can't. It just becomes too expensive. But it's getting to the point where I'm having a hard time making picks, and there's only 8 so far. You know, so I don't know. We'll have to see. But nonetheless, there's definitely a few on there that are definite yeses for me. So there you go. There you go. Yeah. So have you connected with one of my interview guests, Deb Gardner?
Yes, that name sounds familiar. Yes.
Because I interviewed her not too long ago, and
yeah, she always gets kicked off Facebook too. Is that the one?
Yep.
Yep.
That's how she was pitched to me. She's been kicked off Facebook more than anybody. I'm like, or in Facebook jail more than anybody. I'm like, yeah, I bet you I know somebody that's probably been kicked off more.
I've lost 3 full accounts. Right now, my main one is suspended, and I asked for a review, and they're just not giving it to me. And it's actually just really a load of horse shit. It's this one. There's a picture of an airplane flying through the sky, and it says, "Would you rather admit that you were wrong or jump out of a plane?" And then it said women with the 2 dots, and then it shows a picture of a lady jumping out of the airplane rather than admitting she was wrong. It was a funny little meme, and that's what they took my profile for suicide, self-harm, blah, blah, blah. And, I think that their algorithm the algorithm's responsible, but they're hitting so many people with this algorithm, like this kind of dumb stuff. And they may not get around to reviewing mine before the 30 days is up and it's just gone. So last time they did that, I was able to go and I just used my straight up name again, my face again, because now they don't block it because I'm no longer in the system.
Mm-hmm.
And but I still got the trusty number 4.
It must be discouraging trying to get everybody back on your friends list again, though.
It's super discouraging. It's with my number 4, I figured out literally the trick. Like if you're getting kicked off Facebook and if you have a backup profile, it's very simple. Never, ever, 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 ever put your face in the profile. Never use a picture of you ever. You can put yourself in the videos. You can post all day long on the feed, but your profile and your cover photo cannot be you, because that's where the algorithm looks and they match up face to your other one, and then every time you're kicked off this one, you're kicked off this one now. So that's why I have number 4, Troy Oelke 4, because 1 gets shut down, so does 2 and 3. And actually, I can't even remember the password to 3 anymore because 4 is trusty. So, but yeah, it's terribly discouraging because there's, like, the first time they took my profile, I had created pages for friends of mine that passed away. Not to mention all the photo albums that I had, just poof, gone. I mean, things that I didn't put anywhere else. It just basically took for granted that it's like, shit, man, you gotta basically put something everywhere now, or I mean, it's hard to say. So I've been doing a lot more of the TikTok though. At first I was like, meh, but I'm getting 15,000 views or so on many of them, and I just had one that passed 215,000 views. I got one right now that's at 60,000 views, and after you get so many followers and so many, I have the number of likes per month or whatever. I went from like 450 followers to 2,500 in a matter of a month. So I've been actually having quite a bit of fun there. And it's funny because I'll put like a video on YouTube. It gets 4 views, and he gets 4,000 on TikTok.
Okay. Am I able to put my interviews on TikTok?
So what you have is, and it's weird. It's you unlock privileges. So after you get 1,000 likes on your videos, then you get like to the next tier, and you get more. You can do more videos, and then after something, then you can start doing these. You get more tools, more creator tools as you move up these tiers. And but yeah, so what you would do probably is you would run a TikTok and you would take a few clips out of some of these interviews, maybe where you're laughing with someone or talking about some like main point or something, and just do a little short of it, throw that on TikTok with a, follow me at Python's Paradise, whatever. And, and then if you're just putting out kind of like the little funny clips or whatever, just little clips, interesting clips, basically it's just an advertisement for you or to listen to your pod, or you could, lead it to your pod. And it's been interesting, man. It's weird.
Yeah, but here's a question. Hold that thought. Am I able to put a full interview on there?
Not yet. You would have to. I don't know what their overall full-blown length is in the end. I'm not sure what that is, but you get 2 minutes.
Oh, gee, 2 minutes.
Yeah, so there's 3 minutes, but it's short, whatever it is. It's 2 or 3 minutes, and you get that for quite a while. I think I just opened up to like 15 minutes. So, I mean, what I've seen a lot of people do is part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So you would just, if you could do the interview, but it would be in,
I'm not going to do that. No,
yeah. To put up some of the highlights from your interviews and say, if you want to listen, come over here and listen. And I've been experimenting lately. So I did like the regular videos that I do. And I started out doing that kind of shit. And I was like, wow, look at this. I'm getting to, 200 views instead of 4 over here, whatever, and then I started voiceovers of G.I. Joe PSAs. And apparently I did not know about this, but I have since learned, because I started doing a bunch of them, and I learned about Fensler films, pork chop sandwiches. People keep tagging that. I took G.I. Joe, and I did some kind of political, making fun of politicians, and took off. And then I started experimenting, doing some more random, just funny stuff without the politics. Super Friends, doing a bunch of Super Friends stuff. And I don't know, people are just like, I want more. So it's fun for me just because it's voiceover stuff. And I love to do voiceover stuff. But then I have to also come up with the concept or whatever. Like I couldn't figure out. So I was going to try to maybe recruit a friend. I do the voices for the children and the girls, just do it softly. And then I like turn the pitch, the speed up a little bit. So it's a little bit, whatever. So I thought, well, it'd be kind of cool to get an authentic female voice, and then I was doing the videos and I had all these friggin' Wonder Woman ones. And I'm like, I couldn't. And I was, oh, I'm going to give her the deepest voice. And so it's Gender Woman. I called her Gender Woman. And there's one where, in real life, it's about a little girl going up to pet a stray dog, and the dog growls at her. Wonder Woman flies in and says, whoa, you can't just walk up to a stray dog, gotta let them smell your hand and all this other stuff. So I changed it all up, and I made Gender Woman come in to save this little girl from these racist dogs. And then she said, oh, you just got to stick your hand down the back of your pants and scratch your bare butthole, and then you let the dog smell your hand, and then he'll be your best friend forever. and then the little girl like, and then it just cuts to the end. It's the tips one. It's like health, safety. Aquaman, I changed to Fish Dick, aquatic detective, and his name is Fish Stick. But everyone's like, all right, thanks, Fish Dick. And every video, he's like, it's Fish Stick. And everybody keeps calling him Fish Dick. And yeah, just dumb shit like that. But yeah, no, and then yeah, that's the TikTok's just kind of that goofy shit.
I could probably put even with the stuff I've highlighted, like some of my Doubtfire challenges are under 2 minutes. I could probably
Oh yeah,
put in stuff like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
I know my trip to Toronto last year for Frightmare in the Falls. I'll, I don't think many of those are under 2 minutes. So, but
Well, that's in my profile is like all the videos that I posted from my profile and any groups and any pages and gone when I was gone. They don't exist. They're all gone. Anything that I posted as my profile that's gone is just gone. I mean, some people like you have some of the videos, but when I edited one up or whatever, and I put together a compilation video and I put that in a group, that doesn't exist anymore because I don't exist anymore. And so I'm like on my third profile now of that shit. So
of what?
What's that?
Third profile of what?
Well, just my main profile. They took one, they took another one, and now my third one right now is under request for review. And so I don't have a trail again. I have to wait after the 30 days after they pull it all the way. That I'm just going to fire it back up. But I had that one. I'm really Oelke, and thinking about coming up with something just a slightly altered name when I start again. I'll still use my face and everything, but I don't know. It's just it's fudged up because then I'm sure some people get sick of it reminds me of the Bernie Sanders meme where he's like, I am once again here to ask you to accept my friend request. Because I'm like, I keep having this, I'm sorry, I'm kicked out, I'm fucking. And it's like people just stopped asking if I got hacked. Because they're like, yeah, it's him. We got 9 profiles, Jesus.
Yeah. Wow. But yeah, I try to. I know I had bad experience with 13 Fanboy, but I'm going to tell you, it's strange looking at what's going on. Like, I mean, I hate seeing this too because people like Rob Mahoney and Amy Crabtree, they get trashed a lot, and I kind of look at them like I kind of know where they're coming from. They're people that's got dreams and ambitions, and they want to be heard, and they're in a environment that don't want them to be heard. I remember the controversy with Anthony Camano, and I'm still connected with Anthony. I watched the night that he did that podcast, and I got to admit, I admire the fact that he went on there and actually took on all comers. I don't agree with how he handled Rob Mahoney and Amy Crabtree, but I got to say, I admire the fact that he went on there and actually just faced off, because I was kind of like where I with the Doubtfire Face challenge about suicide and depression, I was kind of worried that he was going to get on there and just people are just going to get on there and just throw the darts at him. So, and I really didn't want to see that. So I got to admit, I was kind of impressed he held his ground. But I find right now with social media being what it is, it's almost like if you're not in the it group, you don't count. Do you ever sense anything like that?
I don't know. I think social media reminds me of a keg party.
Mm-hmm.
You have 200 people there, but they're actually broken up into little cliques of, then you got social butterflies that go around and visit with everybody. That was always me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. I appreciate the fact that you still stayed connected with me, because I'm under the impression you kind of remembered that, gee, Greg was the first one. to say, gee, let's check this guy out and do an interview with him. I find it, especially with 13 Fanboy, how many people have forgot that and have cut ties with me. You didn't, and I appreciate that. And there's others that didn't too, and I appreciate that. There's still some that are in touch with me and stay in touch with me, and that's pretty awesome. But are you still largely connected with them on there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. They, not me.
Just gotta connect everybody.
You know what? There- I gotta say, I loved your response. The night Anthony Camano had me when I went on that live feed there that he did, my brother's reaction was the same as yours. You know, everybody thought I was fucking funny, except the 13 Fanboy people didn't like it. I was told get rid of that. And number one, it's not up to me get rid of, but I was like, shit, you know, my brother looked at me and said, you were on fire. I mean, we got to talk about Clint Eastwood's long lost son.
That's the part that got me. I was cracking up about that.
Like, I mean, and I didn't even go on there to trash talk 13 Fanboy, but I went on there because of the Amy Crabtree part of it. But I guess it wasn't looked at favorably when I thought about getting an NDA shirt made.
Have you? I just went. That reminds me. I just went on Sunday, and I saw John Carpenter's The Thing in the theater.
What was it?
I still don't know. It's something. You know, The Thing.
What was it?
Back in 1982 or so.
1982.
I saw Tron. I didn't see. I saw Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, but I didn't get to see The Thing. And in September, I'm trying to think of the name of the company, but in September they're running Poltergeist. It's like 1-day showings, and I did see that in the theater, but I want to go see that in the theater again. And they're going to rerun the IMAX, the big IMAX 3D or whatever is going to be doing Jaws and E.T.
Wow.
And
I saw Apocalypse Now on IMAX in Toronto. First time I've ever seen an IMAX.
I've never been.
Well, I saw Apocalypse Now on IMAX in Toronto, and if I'm going to see a first movie on IMAX, Apocalypse Now pretty much is a good one to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new Top Gun?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a fan of the original Top Gun. Never been.
Yeah, I like this one.
This one here was friggin' great. It helps that Jennifer Connelly is in it.
She still looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was a much, much, much better movie, you know?
The jet scene is fabulous.
Jennifer Connelly was fabulous. My favorite movie of the year, X.
Oh, loved it.
I loved it too. Isn't it interesting? The final girl broke every fucking rule in the book. Every rule. She broke them all. To me, she's like the ultimate final girl. She had sex. She did drugs. She got naked. She did everything.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really well done. I'm looking forward to Nope. I think that might be pretty good.
I'm looking forward to Yes.
To Yep, and Nope. I wonder if they'll do like a double billing, Nope and Yep.
That's right. But yeah, my brother thought it was pretty funny on that live feed. I'm gonna be honest with you. looking back on that, I thought, gee, I had no idea it was so entertaining, but I'm going to say this. I haven't made an NDA shirt. I was just fucking around. I thought it was funny. So many people took me seriously, got pissed off. But oh well, I haven't done any of that stuff.
What
I've been,
shirt
huh?
there? What shirt do you have on right there? Ah. Have you ever seen Chainsaw Lollipop?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. I was just curious. When I saw the head, I thought that's my eyes are terrible, but I thought that's what it was.
Nope, it's Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
That's Harley Quinn. Yep. But
loved her. But
actually, you know what I want to see? I want to see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. What that looks fucked up.
I like the con.
It's in the public domain, and this is what people do with it.
I wonder what else is in the public domain.
I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you.
What is it? Years or what? What's the?
What's that?
Is it after so many years it becomes public domain, or? Huh. Oh no, I know what it is. I believe they have an opportunity every so often to pay to keep it copyrighted, and if they default and don't do it, then it becomes public. I think that's how it works.
Well, at your store, apparently, Amber Heard's poop is public domain.
Yeah. That was public. That was national treasure.
How embarrassed do you think she is right now?
You know what's really funny? Even though she lost, and is gonna have to pay up some dough, but if she would have been smart, she should have filmed herself pooping on the bed and then hid it away. And if she lost everything, she could put that on like OnlyFans or something, some kind of Pornhub or something, and make $1 gazillion. Because like, while people might not have the weird fetish, everybody be like, all right, I got to see Amber taking a dump on a bed,
You
And
want me to tell you something? Look at the switch around, though. Look at the switch around. It went from the Me Too movement hating men to, gee, we're not impressed with Jada Pinkett, and we're not impressed with Amber Heard.
Yep.
Yep.
Coming around there.
Yeah, I'm like seeing it spinning around a little bit there.
Yeah, the whole see, I'm like Will Smith. It seems like there's always Hollywood, somebody that has to be shunned and whatever, and then they'll come back with this big comeback. And I loved him in King Richard. Did you see that?
I didn't see that film. No, it was here. I just didn't see it.
Really, really good. I'm not necessarily a tennis fan per se. I mean, I'm not a hater, but it was just
Well, you like hitting balls.
great story. Yeah. No, it just depends. Not mine.
But no, I didn't see it. It had nothing to do with him, but I got to the point now to save some money. I go to one movie a week. So most of the movies I see are generally pretty good because I try to see stuff that interests me and stuff I think might be good. So, which is probably why I haven't seen the new Jurassic Park yet, or if I ever will.
Yeah, I never saw Jurassic World. I think the last one I saw was part 3.
You know what? There was a podcast talking about what people thought was Steven Spielberg's worst movie, and a lot of people had a hard time saying it. And I was like, Lost World. That was the worst movie I seen Spielberg do. Sorry. You look at Jurassic Park and how much tension, how much suspense, how much awe and wonder. And then you look at this piece of shit where every character does the dumbest things.
Yeah, they skipped they went to the action.
Yep. And it's like Spielberg was given a bunch of money to do a sequel that he didn't want to make, So the Jurassic Park has lost its rawness. I mean, that first movie, you're terrified, you know, not in the sequels.
Yeah.
Yep. But nonetheless, we got to talk about some of the films that you got coming up, because I got your IMDb up here. I'm gonna be frank. Anthony Camano, I know he's still gonna do Batman: The Killing Joke. I wish he would go with Flower City Butcher instead, because he could make money off that, and that actually sounds much more interesting than a Batman movie, fan movie. Wouldn't you agree?
I I didn't know much about him. I just recently, honestly, watched a couple of hours worth of Batman fan films on YouTube. I just randomly, and holy shit, man, there's some good shit out there. I was like, there's one, I can't remember the group or the people, but I was genuinely impressed. I mean, they did such a great job. And then I mean, clearly they know how to film everything, but it was really good. And I thought, I don't know. I thought that I don't know the whole story of the what's it called, the Killing Joke.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not completely familiar with that story, but I think fan films are fun, good practice, kind of.
They're good practice, but you can't make money off it. If he did
Right.
Flower City Butcher and did it well, like with Hayden Newman and Reunion from Hell, Hayden Newman can make money off Reunion from Hell because
Well,
it's
there's even a lot of people that make pretty good fan films that it's like, if you didn't have Jason, Michael, Freddie, Chucky, whoever it is that they have, and just if you just take a minute here and took this movie that you made and put a totally different mask on the guy and just make your own killer, you'd have a pretty good little movie here, and you could sell it. You know what I mean? And
yep.
it's kind of unfortunate. I mean, I guess a lot of them probably reaching a new audience, maybe their demographic, like, hey, here's this. And then when they make a film, people will be like, okay, he's the guy that made that one. But, there's just, I just always thought that, like, there's so many fan films that, like, it's like, wow, man, you pulled this off. If you could have made your own killer and you got your own movie now, and you could make 4 or 10, however many sequels you want with your own, your own killer guy with your own mask and your own stuff.
I got a couple over here that I'm going to show you that you kind of need to see. Speaking of which, just give me half a second here, because I got some gems here that I remember you saying just a mere seconds ago. You said, "Holy shit, man." Well, did you know that there's a movie called Holy Shit Man?
No, I did not.
Here it is.
Wow.
Yeah. The Devil's Plumber.
Wow.
And it's got Rebecca Reinhardt in it. And I had the director and producer on here as well, Chuck Terrell. And no, Chuck Terrell, the producer I had on. I had the Holy Shit Man himself, Brent Black. Now, this is an example of something that had an Indiegogo or something along crowdfunded. They can make money on this. Now, this one here wasn't crowdfunded, but I'm going to share it with you because this is something I think you need to look up, is Dead Dicks. This is a Canadian film. You need to look this up. I interviewed one of the actresses from it. It's a story of this a bartender who gets a frantic phone gets a phone call from her brother, her older brother, that worries her because her brother suffers from depression. At the beginning of the film, you see him smother himself with a plastic bag until he dies. Then you see somebody else walk by. When she goes to his apartment and she tries to find out what's going on, she can't find him. She opens up his closet and finds him hanging there. And she's grieving. Then all of a sudden, her brother is emerging behind her, stark naked, eating a bowl of cereal. And she's trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Every time he kills himself, he comes back to life. And so she's got to figure out what is going on. In fact, there's one point, he
that's the dead one.
Dead dicks. Dead dicks, because the guy's name is Richard. So he I remember at one point, like he wants to film it. He wants her to film it so he can figure out why he keeps coming back. And at one point, one of the ways he tries to kill himself is electrocute himself in the tub with a toaster. And when he comes back to life, there's this body in the tub. He's like, is the toaster still good?
Sounds like an interesting.
It's a comedy, a horror comedy. It's very weird, and I knew nothing about it. I just saw this in Sunrise Records, and they told me that every time it comes in, it sells. So it's like, I'm curious of what this is. I wasn't disappointed. It was a strange little movie, and
did you? I might have asked you before, but did you ever see Crime Wave?
No, I haven't seen that.
This movie is like, I love it. It's I guess you call it a cult classic, at least for me. And it was one of these with just one-liners just all day long. It's directed by Sam Raimi. It has the yellow car. Bruce Campbell has a small part in it. The blonde girl that was the female lead in Walker, Texas Ranger, I forget her name. And the guy that played Bluto in the Popeye movie with Robin
Actually,
Williams.
I think you did
And Brian
tell
James.
me about that. Yeah, and I did watch that online.
Great. Love that movie. Yeah.
But yeah, I like some of these strange little movies. This is why I say I don't like. Vincent DeSante did well with Never Hike Alone, and I think that Bruce Dale and Dave McCrae did a great job with It's Me Billy, the Black Christmas fan film. If you haven't seen that, check it out. I've interviewed all three of the principal females in it. It's the best thing to happen to Black Christmas since the original. Yep. And that one turned out well. I think sometimes, a lot of times, people get into it and I think it's a quick cash. I'm not saying that for everybody, but it's like they want to be connected to this stuff so bad that they don't care if their movie looks like a costume party, So, 13 Fanboy did something different, and that wasn't poorly done. I thought that was done well. So, although I gotta say, that security guard, was just, don't call him when you're in trouble.
Yeah, we never make
it. But no, talk about some of the stuff you got coming up though, because you got a lot of stuff in pre-production or post-production. No, they're all pre-production. Well, Sam Hain, Les Nolan, Sam Hain is filming right now.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the. He sent me a few of the clips, and
okay,
I like it. I'm actually looking forward to this one quite a bit because I have a pretty large part in it, and so I'm excited about that.
Okay, what's Smile?
Smile is so Smile and Gore All Hallows Eve and Strawmen. I play Dr. Dark in all three of those. It's made by the same people uh, in three different movies. Voicing a DJ named Dr. Dark, and they'll have basically they'll have like a silhouette, I guess, of him in the dark, and then it'll be my. That was really fun. He's kind of a creepy DJ, and then I'm actually this weekend I got to do a Zoom for the Valentine's Bluffs.
Okay, yeah, My Bloody Valentine. Yep.
Yep. Always working that one. Oh man, there's just so much going on right now, and trying to think of what else. My head is full of.
Well, there's one that we're both part of, and that is the Witches of the Sands. I'm glad you took part in that.
Yes, very excited about that, actually.
I've had Tony Martin on last year.
I like him a lot.
Oh, he's pretty funny. Deborah Lamb was on my show, and Deborah did a Doubtfire face challenge right at the end of the interview. And her husband came in afterwards, and he says to her, "Have you done it yet?"
I forgot. I just I filmed a short, and it just got accepted to the Severed Head Red, White, and Dead 10 Film Festival, and I'm kind of excited about that. It's got an official selection now, so I don't know if I'll get nominated for anything or anything like that, but and I don't expect to, but it's fun nonetheless, because I've been wanting to make movies. I have tons of ideas, so I've just decided this is my year to shit or get off the pot. So I'm just starting by filming some shorts. I'm gonna do another short.
You're filming stuff in your shorts.
What
are you doing that for?
No.
Well, the Witches of the Sand. I was just going to tell you, Tony Martin. I said to him, I could either, due to my finances, get the Blu-ray or have my picture in the movie. He sold me, buy the Blu-ray and he'll put my picture in the film. I think that was actually pretty cool. He'd do that.
Yeah, I got in that one. I'm doing voice work too. Only I'm doing a trailer for a movie that you won't even believe the name of the movie I'm doing the trailer for. I don't know if I can say it or not, so I'll just hold off. You'll see it.
Barney's Great Adventure Part 2.
So I think if I'm correct, my this trailer will be playing on a TV in the corner of maybe like a video store or some kind of sleazy something or other, and so that was pretty cool. So he had me do the full trailer that's going to be up on the TV and in the background or whatever. So that was a lot of fun. Looking forward to doing more. And then actually, what's kind of cool is working with Tony there. It's now I'm international.
Yeah. No, Tony was great. I was happy to have him on the show, and that's got a great cast in it. I've interviewed a lot of people from this movie.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Yep. And Amityville Shark House. What is that?
Yeah, that's the Amityville Karen. That's another one I've got a part of. There's a cult leader basically in the Amityville Shark House. That's all I can say. But yeah.
Well, what did you think of Pig when it came out? Because I haven't seen it, didn't come here, but you appear in that.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Well, and it wasn't just so much. I definitely highly disappointed that my awesome scene with Nicolas Cage was chopped. And I mean, they cut it right in the middle of her speech. She was started yelling, son of a, going down this trail with her and Nicolas Cage, and me and this other lady had to get out of their way as they were storming through all mad. And then right in the movie, they're like, oh, son of a, and then it just goes to the next scene where they're pulling up somewhere. I was actually able to still find myself off in the background behind this tree, bending down. But no, the reason why I didn't like the movie, and I'll try to do this without any spoilers. They, you know the premise. He's a old truffle hunter, retired to the mountains with it, and then someone opens up his door, punches him, and takes his pig. And he wakes up and he goes everywhere looking for a pig. And somehow he ends up in some underground fight club of chefs, but he doesn't fight, and they just beat the living shit out of him. So then he goes to the next person, hey man, have you seen my pig? And then no. And then he just goes around, and finally someone says, yeah, I hired someone to steal it from you, and then they accidentally killed it. And then he's like, oh, and then he goes home and goes to bed. Like, they fucking missed such an opportunity. I thought this was going to be some kind of a John Wick. Where is my pig? Nothing. Beat anybody up. He didn't. I mean, it was the acting was great. It was shot great. I love Nicolas Cage, but my problem was it was pointless. There was just, they took his pig and that was the end of it. He went looking around, and instead of beating the shit out of people or killing somebody or doing whatever, it was just kind of like, I'm looking for my pig. I don't know where it is. Oh, okay. And it's just, oh man, it did inspire me though. And I'm not shitting you here. I started working on a story called Squirrel.
I knew it.
And loosely based off of what my expectations of pig were. This is going to be a man whose wife has passed years ago. He's old and grizzled, and he's got an old squirrel. The old squirrel's about 18 years old, gray, doesn't move around like he used to. He's starting to lose his memory and stuff. And oh my God, I left your cage open, like, oh geez, or, sorry, buddy, and almost got out the window because the window was open on the fresh air day, and he forgot to lock the squirrel up, because he's just, kind of punishing himself. He's mad at himself for forgetting, and, talks to the squirrel a lot. And his wife had died, and like I said earlier, or years before, but they had the squirrel together before she died, whatever. So this is like the only tie in to his, his regular former life. And so he also sits out front. He's got this little cabin in the country. Through the trees, I don't know, 50, 100 yards, you can see another house. And there's, it's kind of one of those. And he sits out on the front and feeds squirrels. There's just a lot of squirrels out there. He loves squirrels, but he's got the one that obviously is a non-releasable that he has inside that he's been taking care of. And somebody rents out the house next door. Loud cars pull up with their music and everything. And at some point, there's a young 20s dude with his 22. He's out there plinking squirrels and shit. And the guy kind of forgets, and the squirrel gets out the window. Shit. Shot. And the guy picks up the squirrel, looks at the dude, and the dude with the gun's like, and realized suddenly that he had done something very bad. So he left. And I basically, one of the girlfriends comes over to apologize, and he just fucking so brutally murders everyone in a massive homicidal rage. No one-liners, no, just pure unadulterated murder. It's like the squirrel was his last thing holding him together. And and in the end, the cops will have to come and shit. And then I kind of had this idea of, well, I'm giving it all away, but I had this kind of idea at the end after he murders everybody, and the cops are like, put your hands up, and he's out with the squirrels, and don't do it. And he puts his hand in his pocket, like, don't do it. Pulls his hand out, and they shoot a bunch of times, and he had peanuts that he was going to give to the squirrels. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I have this idea of like two thumbs cracking an egg. One of the girls just smashing and ripping her head in half, and then like ripping her jaw off and stabbing the guy that walks into the room with it, and just absolutely beyond brutality. And it's got the cute little name Squirrel, but it was all, I want it to be a dead serious movie, but I'm working on the story right now. I have it all basically that all penned out. I just need to lengthen it.
I think it sounds brilliant, especially the part with the nuts are in his hand there. I think that was actually great there when hey, I'd be happy to do something with it as well if you want me to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I still plan your voice on so as I have these kind of large aspirations, the one thing I don't know how to fundraise or how to do an Indiegogo. I don't know how to do any of that and do perks, and I don't know anything about that. So I'm trying to avoid that. So what I've decided to do is some of my stories that are medium, I'm going to shorten them down, and I'm going to shoot some shorts, and I'm going to, practice my angles and my, learning the lighting and a bunch of other stuff. And then I have one film that I want to do. I have my actor, I have everything. I just really, I have to kind of organize it a little bit better, because it's a weird mix of yesterday and today. It's basically 2050. So everybody will be driving 50s cars, but they have cell phones. So it's just going to be like this kind of a mashup world, old classic type of horror movie with some things I want to do that'll be different. But that's one I want to get together, and I want to do as my big one. It might not be 2 hours or an hour and a half, but I want, maybe an hour film or something. I want that one to be my big thing. But I have, like I said, several shorts ideas, and one I have an idea that I'm really excited about. And one thing I loved about what Vincent DeSante did with Never Hike Alone was, it was brilliant. He had very few cast, very few, up in the mountains, so he wasn't having to pay for, it was brilliant on he made the most out of the least, and that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And I got a pretty good idea. I think my next one, I need a lot of bodies, not bodies laying on the ground, but a lot of people, and I need probably a handful of actual actors. So I'm trying to work with a way to like, if someone can't act, I make it so they don't have to, or you know what I mean, or kind of, or
why not? Tommy Wiseau worked with with The Room. Talent,
Yeah. No, so I'm hoping to really, that's really what I want to do this year. I'm getting ready to go on about, I don't even know what the date is, but the second week of July, I'll be going down to Eureka, California, film in the Third Channel, which I'm really excited about that concept. I like the fact that it's Halloween 3. I always loved that movie on a standalone movie. Even when I saw it,
the theme song gets on my friggin' nerves. I hate hearing that over and over.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
But if you remember at the very end, he's like, turn them off, and they shut 1 down, 2 down, and he's like, the third channel, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. And this is what happened when the third channel was not shut off. So I like the idea. I think it's a neat concept. So it should be fun. It's about a 7-hour drive from where I'm. So we're going to drive down there and make a little vacay out of it.
Yeah. They're saying right now, one of the possibilities after Halloween ends, possibility is they're going to do something with Halloween 3.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's what I'm hearing, you know. Um, and quite frankly, I think they should, you know, because
It's kind of a underground cult classic now. I mean, I get it. People were pissed because there was no Michael Myers,
they
but
shouldn't have called it Halloween 3. They should call
yeah,
it Season of the Witch. Now
yeah, yeah.
Nicolas Cage, speaking of which, has a Season of the Witch, and it was horrible.
The well, so I guess they were supposed to do, several Halloween different things, and the first one being the Boogeyman. The second one, I believe, was going to be Season of the Witch, but the people wanted so much more of the Boogeyman that they got Michael Myers the second one. Then they decided, okay, let's move on. And everybody's like, "What the hell are you doing?" They're like, "Okay, Jesus, we'll bring him back." And I think that's where John Carpenter's just like, "All right, well, this isn't my vision anymore. They want to keep doing this thing or whatever." And then it just took off forever and ever and ever. So now he's like, "All right, well, I'll go ahead and finish that up." But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, would be 3 would be fantastic. I'd love to see him do something with that. I like the apocalyptic kind of a thing about it, to where there was like people all over the place with these masks on, and shit was going to happen all over the place at once when everybody was watching this thing. And yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool.
I think they should remake the third film and follow that up. That's what I think they should do. I don't think they should call it Halloween 3. They might want to avoid that because so many people associate with Michael Myers, which I get, you know. But I think that they should definitely go in that direction. And there's a lot of stuff that could be done with Friday the 13th as well. Like I don't know I don't know what's going on with the rights. I know Victor Miller won and whatnot, but I mean, there's still some stuff to be sorted there, you know.
Vincent DeSanti just shared a little short video, and it was Jason versus Wolfman, and black and white. And I love this concept. It would be so cool to have a film all black and white, where Jason runs into some of the Universal monsters or something. It basically becomes one.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. I think it was just I don't think he's doing it, but it was just a neat little short. It was really fun because, like, Jason, for me, when he started out, he was scary as shit, and then eventually he became almost like a superhero and like a fun thing. And
to me, Jason is Ted White. Like, to me, that was Jason as most terrifying, you know. I loved Ted White. I was happy to have him on the show a couple times, you know. He's lived quite a legendary life as a stunt person, you know. But
Ted White, he was in Starman.
yep. He said he loved working with Jeff Bridges.
Awesome.
He loved working with Jeff Bridges. Said that was one of his favorite people to work with, was Jeff Bridges. The dude, Mr. Lebowski. The dude. But yeah.
Go very fast.
Yep. But no, what I'd like to see them do with Friday the 13th, and I know Dave McCrae had brought this up. I think I'd love to see what happened before part 1. I'd love to hear the Pamela Voorhees story.
Well, I did see somebody's, I think, fan filming that, but you know what I want someone to do is make a goddamn story into a movie, because I got that pre-story and it splits up and it cures all of the timeline fuck ups in the whole movie frame.
You want me to tell you what I want to see? I want to see Vincent DeSante plug all the plot holes to this franchise. Because I know Vincent DeSante might not like me now, which I could care less. But I got to admit, I have a tremendous respect for him as a filmmaker. Like, I'll give you an example. The last time I had him on here, like, here's how great his mind works. He said, you remember in part 8 where you see the little boat float by there before the first 2 people are killed, and you see kind of lights on up there at the camp? I mean, to me, I don't think about it. He thinks about stuff like that, and he explains what he would do, why there's lights on up there, and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow. And it's like, well, what about this? He has an answer. Well, what about this? This is what I would do. Well, what about this? Like, here's something else he brought up that I never thought of, and this is why I think Vincent DeSante, again, I talked about, this about here's something he brought up, what if Steve Christie was okay. Remember in part one, at the beginning of part one, he kills the two at 1958. Well, in Never Hike Alone, I take it you've seen it.
Mhm.
Andrew Leahy finds some Playboy magazines or something of that nature. Well, Vincent told me those were Steve Christie's. He said his theory is Steve Christie and that woman that Deborah S. Hayes played that was killed at the beginning of the movie. He said his theory is Steve Christie was banging her, and Jason ended up drowning. But Steve Christie wasn't back there the following year, and she was banging this other guy.
Hmm.
And I thought that was kind of interesting, bring it because it kind of brings the whole Christie thing into it a little further. I talked to him deeply about his theories on this and this and this, and I think if anybody can get the Friday the 13th franchise back in place, I think it's Vincent DeSante. Hands down.
I saw that Tom McLaughlin has a script ready to go.
Yeah, he's mentioned that the last time I had him on. He wants to have Jason in the snow, and he and Vincent actually were talking about that even before the script was done, you know. But Tom McLaughlin, to me, is one of the best directors of the franchise. Between him and Joseph Zito, of course, I still say the final chapter's scariest, but I say Jason Lives to me was the best for
It's
several reasons. Yep.
super fun when it started being fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But Jason Lives, like even the characters in it. Like a lot of people, there's some people that are divisive on the humor. The humor didn't take me out of it. Not at all. In fact, it made it more engaging for me. But
I
I
think
would
that
love,
went and became, like I said, the superhero. We were there to see. Everybody knew now we were there to see Jason, not we're there for him. So I loved the whole. I mean, it was straight up Frankenstein basically in the beginning that brought him back to life.
well, that's what he was going for. The old creature features, classic creatures like Frankenstein and all that stuff. That's what he was going for. And to me, it actually worked.
Yeah.
But I would love to see Tom McLaughlin do another one. And I'd like to see him add the same kind of humor. He wants to do one that's going to have an all-female cast, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
And it's going to be set in winter. And I'm like, I'm definitely out of seeing that. Picture this. Imagine an ice frozen crystal lake and Jason bursting out of that ice.
Mhm. Or
Think
walking
about that.
across it and look down, and then he's under the ice looking at you. Like that would be creepy as shit too. And then his knife comes up, you fall in, and done.
Yeah. So I don't know how far Tom McLaughlin is with it, but I would encourage him to definitely do it. Here's something else too, because with Never Hike Alone, in many ways, follows part 8. That's what
Mm.
it follows. I personally think Paramount Pictures should get the rights back. And because why end it with Jason Takes Manhattan the way they ended it? I say do a part 9. Call it Friday the 13th part 9. That doesn't take anything from Jason Goes to Hell. I'm not saying erase it, because Jason Goes to Hell.
It wasn't called part 9, so it could be any part.
Yeah, but you know what? Jason Goes to Hell could fit in anywhere.
Yeah,
Anywhere after part 8, it could fit in anywhere. So I'm not saying ignore it. Although I would ignore Jason X, but that's another story. But what I would say, do Friday the 13th part, call it that, Friday the 13th part 9. Because the hardcore fans are going to show up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But if you make it good, then you'll get people returning. Because I mean, look at Halloween 2018. That became the highest grossing slasher film of all time. And whether people like it or not, I actually thought it was really good.
I like both of them. They're fun.
Same here, yeah.
There's the kills were awesome, really brutal, and I loved how he came out, killed all the firefighters, and just like that was just awesome. And then it's weird though. It's one of those movies that I love, but I don't really watch over and over again. I watch it once in a while, but like there are movies I don't know how many times I've seen the Friday the 13th. I could throw on those any day, really, and just be good with it. I don't know, just a whole different animal.
Friday the 13th, I find the ones I can really throw in there anytime are parts 4 and 6. I got the box set over there, but there's some of them when I look at them, it's like, I'm like, there's a problem I have here or there, blah, blah, blah. Friday the 13th, the original, I regret, I think it's stupid that Ronnie Yu, when he made Freddy versus Jason, watched the original Friday the 13th, he watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and that's all he watched. Elm Street, fine. What's he going to get out of Friday the 13th, the original, to make Freddy versus Jason? Might as well watch My Little Pony, the movie, I mean, like they said, and I'm not like, I mean, Friday the 13th was a well-made movie, but it's not where the franchise ended up. And again, I'd love to see a Pamela movie. Don't get me wrong.
It wasn't versus Pamela, so it should have been, part 2, maybe part 3 when he got his hockey mask. But again,
but I had a problem with the killing of the snake. I thought that was totally unnecessary in the original. I like part 2, but when you look at part 2, it's basically part 1 only with Jason. Although I like Amy Steele, she was a great final girl. Yeah. Part 3, my big issue is that Chris is so unlikable. It's almost like Rick should have went on the date with Mary or whatever, Mary Jo Conrad. Boy, did he make a mistake, But nothing against Dana Kimmel, but Chris was not very likable. And they had Debbie announced as pregnant. Why not have a pregnant final girl? Tracy Savage, again, a big crush from on my end. She's the reason I got involved with 13 Fanboy.
And Dana Kimmel in part 3, she was my first major Friday the 13th franchise crush.
I had a few of them. Tracy Savage was one, Adrienne King, Melanie Kinnaman, Amy Steele, Kimberly, back, like there was a bunch of them, but in part 3, I think Tracy Savage was I still think she's gorgeous, but she had such a cool demeanor as Debbie.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wouldn't have minded seeing what she would have been like as a final girl, to be frank with you,
Yeah, I think she would have been pretty.
But I mean, they just kind of forgot the whole pregnancy thing. Well, if that's the case, don't write it in. The final chapter I have very little to really to complain about. I think it was I like the characters in it. Um part four to me was the scariest. There's not a lot I can nitpick on it. Part five, a lot of people are coming around to. Here's my thing with part five. It's probably it's one of the worst directed, and there's a lot of subplots in that movie. Like, put it this way, the whole thing with Demon and his girlfriend. If that was cut out of the movie, you'd never know it was gone. Or the scene at the diner with the paramedic and or whatever, and the woman who flashed herself, or the two greasers. If
Yeah.
those scenes weren't there, you would never know. It's just made up of scenes. But here's the thing about part five. Imagine taking every character in that movie, your juniors, your Ethels, your demons, your greasers, your whoever, your Violet, and putting them in a screwball comedy. Could you imagine what those characters would have looked like?
No doubt.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me here. Melanie Kinnaman, I've always thought she was gorgeous, still do. I think it's dumb that the one guy that caused the issue never got dealt with, really. He kind of gets away with it, and it's all over a freaking chocolate bar. And I'm sorry, but Roy to me just doesn't do it. Don't show, look, they had Jason killed in part four. Okay, I got a good idea. You got they show the body of Joey. You get the reaction of everybody. You get the reaction of Roy. Okay. But when they start covering the body up, don't show the back of the pant leg. Don't show Roy getting down there and then looking up, because you might as well just put a neon sign saying, here's your new killer. I hate that shot. I think it's fucking stupid. I also hate were you talking to me, Sheriff? No, no, Roy, just go back to it. I thought you were talking to like fuck off with that. And then trying to make us believe it was Tommy. I hated shit like that in part five. You know, it's nothing against the Roy character. You know what I would have done? I might have gone the route of Tommy being the killer, and maybe have, if you're going to have so much emphasis on Roy, have Roy maybe investigating it behind the scenes, even though he's a paramedic. Something like that. So I always have my issues with part five. Jason Lives, love it. Love it. And people might say, well, Greg, if you cut the paintballer scene out or the RV scene, you wouldn't be missing anything. Yeah, but here's the difference. It's the way Jason Lives flows, and it flows nicely. And Jason makes all these stops as he's heading back to camp. And I think a lot of it has to do with Tom McLaughlin being a better director than Danny Steinman. Part seven, I had major issues with. They should have had Lar Park Lincoln's telekinetic Tina face Jason one-on-one. I could not stand. This just gets me every time. And Jason Lives. Poor Ron Polito there hits Jason, comes up charging, hits Jason in the back of the head with the shovel. Jason turns around and punches his fist through him with his heart on the other end. He drops into the coffin. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this is the worst shot or worst scene in any Friday the 13th movie for me, is at the end of part seven. They watch the house blow up. They're hugging on the ramp. Suddenly Tina gets flung aside and it's Jason. Kevin Blair, nothing against the guy. It's not his fault, but the Nick character starts firing rounds into him. Jason pushes him into the canoe. Are you fucking kidding me? It annoys me every fucking time I see it. Jeepers, Rom would have been so happy to just get pushed into the coffin and kill you escape.
Right.
That annoys me every time. And there's one scene where he grabs him and flings him against the wall. And I'm like, oh, just let him tramp his foot through him. Let him tramp his foot through him. And she squeezes the mask into his head. And I'm like, Adrienne King as Alice in the original was isolated by herself against Mrs. Voorhees. Why wouldn't she just love to have had telekinesis? She would have come in handy. Here, they had it with Tina. Telekinesis. I had Lar Park Lincoln, who's still beautiful. And they have this crutch in the way of this Nick character. And it annoyed the hell out of me. It worked with Tommy Jarvis in part 6, and it worked with Stephen Freeman in part 9, because those male characters were interesting. Nick was not interesting. And I'll say the same about the Scott Reese character in part 8 as well, although I don't find him quite as annoying, but part 8 was there's issues for different reasons, like most of it taking place on a boat and not enough in Manhattan. Of course, that was Vancouver. We didn't get the movie that we should have gotten. And Jason Goes to Hell, I now have a big issue with this. Adam Marcus told me about. Thanks to Sean S. Cunningham, Adam had some issues with Carrie Keegan, who was Jessica Kimball in the film. Well, Jessica Kimball was brought in. Okay, you know who they originally wanted to play Jessica Kimball? Who Adam wanted? Laurie Holden of The Walking Dead. But according to Adam Marcus, Sean Cunningham thought she was way too pretty for the role. So they bring in Carrie Keegan, who was a pain in Adam's ass through most of the shoot. Pain in his ass through most of the shoot. And I'm like, great, Sean, you got somebody who you don't see in the movies anymore. You could have had somebody from The Walking fucking Dead in the future in your movie. And what is too pretty? Well, she would have still brought it. She would have still brought it. So it's hard to watch Jason Goes to Hell knowing that now. And Jason X, everything about that is hard to watch.
Yeah, I'd just as soon put that DVD on a rocket and shoot that into space.
Yeah, I mean, I like seeing David Cronenberg make a cameo in it, although that's the worst thing he's ever had his name attached to. But and I did like the android woman. I liked her, but I would have had the android woman be the final girl. Jeepers, I had too many people there at the end of that. Like, come on, why? The isolation thing is what made it scary for Adrienne King at the end of the first. Go back to that.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's where I stand with a lot of these, and and I often look at the reboot as a sequel, because when and this is something I kind of noticed, when he finds the hockey mask after the sack was ripped off his head there, it's almost like he recognizes it. And then he puts it on. So when I watch the reboot, I'm kind of like, I could play this right after part 8 and no problem,
Yep.
Yeah. But and I had the sleeping bag girl from that on my show earlier this year too, which was pretty cool. But that's kind of where I stand on. I've had some issues with some, but often if I'm going to watch one, parts 4 and 6 are usually my go-tos, with occasional part 2, you know. What are your
Yep.
go-tos?
3 is my definite go-to. I love me some 6. Yeah, then it's kind of a toss-up. For I don't know. It's a toss-up after that. I gotta get going though, buddy.
Why?
I gotta go eat dinner. My sons are here now.
What about your squirrel? Why are you leaving the squirrel out?
He's sleeping.
Sleeping? Well, all you have to do is get that guitar I see behind you there. That'll wake him up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
maybe
do you, huh?
maybe I'll see you next June 21st.
We'll be in touch. You know, I appreciate the fact though that we've kept in touch, and I don't want to sit here and go into my friction with 13 Fanboy, but a lot of people chose not to hear any of my side of the story on that, and I think a lot of that is monetary reasons because I'm seen as a nobody. But I'm glad there's a few people out there that kind of see some value in me, and I'm glad that you're not one of the people that cut me off, you know. So that is very much appreciated on my end, and you know. But when you do your squirrel movie, you know, I'll do a voiceover or something for it. I'm happy to do that, you know.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. What are you having for supper?
Fish actually, lemon pepper fish.
What's a
Tilapia.
what's a squirrel having? You sharing some with the squirrel?
Yeah, squirrel blocks.
Squirrel blocks.
Yeah, they're perfect nutrition.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go, need a plug, and I don't mean the toilet. I know you'll be doing that later.
Yes, indeed. You can, if you want to check out my TikTok, it's at the Walking Dad Joke. Of course, my YouTube is Spam Chuckers Castle, and Facebook, obviously, Troy Oelke 4 is probably the best one to go with because Troy Oelke disappears and he's missing in action. So, yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, before you go, do a plug
Check
for my shows.
out a bunch of movies to support and watch.
Well, yeah, of course. We got some James Balsamo movies that we're still waiting for. Oh no, when when those are going to come out? But yeah, just state your name and say you're listening to Greg
Yes.
Gilbert on Python's Paradise. Go for it.
I'm Troy Oelke, and you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
And next time you see Troy, he'll be watching Dead Dicks.
Yes, he will.
And maybe some Holy Shit Man, because something tells me that you missed out on that.
All right, buddy. Thanks for having me on. Talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure, Troy. You take care and keep creating.
I will, buddy.
I mean it. You're a talent, and you deserve bigger things.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You deserve it.
Have a great night.
Take care, man.
Take care, bud.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.